Hey guys, Rylan Russell here. Welcome back to the channel. Today I want to talk to you about how we built our very own steel pipe camera mount. So recently we had the opportunity to redesign the whole layout of our media booth system. Before, we had all of our cameras out in front of it, and it just took up a large footprint. You can see in this photo, we had these very large Manfrotto tripods and took up a ton of space. And I've seen these camera poles over the years and decided I'm gonna look into doing that. And then I did and realized for this camera pole right here, it would have been $1,240. I talked to one of the guys in our church that does welding and asked him, like, how hard would it be to make something like this? He assured me it would be very easy, and so we kind of drew up some plans. And so today I thought I'd share with you how that all came together, what ours is made up of, and maybe how you can take it and run with your design at your church. All right, so if you want to do this, the first thing I'd say is find somebody in your church who is an expert welder or somebody that does steel work that knows what they're doing. That'll go a long ways. I'll describe to you now the materials that ours is made up of, and I will also link in the description some Google 3D renderings, SketchUp stuff that we kind of ran with at the beginning, and we adjusted some things over time. But the main thing is that this is a pole that is a 4-inch steel pole, 4-inch inside diameter. So the outside diameter is about 4.5 inches. It's schedule 40, I believe, and that's the main guts of your system. We attached that to a 1/4-inch base plate, and then we had some gusseting, I guess it's called, that kind of went up on the sides to add some bracing to it as well. The key with any of these steel poles is that it doesn't just sit on the ground. It is actually, we cut out the carpet and it is bolted into the concrete of your building. And that adds so much stability and gets rid of any vibrations from sub stuff. Before, I've tried mounting cameras on walls. Maybe you've tried that and you've had some vibration issues. This will solve that, and you could just put it right in front of your wall, paint it to match your wall, and it will solve a lot of those problems. So after the pole is built, what we did after that was he actually added a cap on top, welded a cap, and then welded a 3/8 inch bolt up through the top of the pole. The reason we did this is that you're gonna buy a hi-hat bowl riser, and that will just spin right onto there and lock down. And then the next piece of the puzzle is you're gonna add your fluid head. Now, these come in different variations of millimeters. We chose a 75 millimeter bowl attachment, and I believe our fluid head is just an Avella fluid head off Amazon. It's nothing special. This station is not a manned station, meaning like there's not a guy here moving it, because the next piece of the puzzle is a best score, I think it's an MP101. It's a Ptz unit that our DVX200 sits on top of. The reason we do that is that our director can control with a remote the pan and tilt of the unit, and then with our lamp remote he can control the zoom as well. So we don't do that live panning and tilting, it's not that smooth, but it's great for repositioning shots. One design thing that I wish we would have done a little bit differently was we actually added holes at the top and the bottom of the pole for all cabling to pass through, and we should have made those larger. You know, you're balancing the part of taking too much out of the pole with stability and that kind of stuff to make bigger holes. How do you mount the bowl on top? I guess you could weld the bowl on top and just have a giant hole on top, but we ran out of room quickly in the pass-through holes as well, and so you might just think about that. It'd be okay if you don't have but just 3 or 4 things going through it, but by the time you add power things and remote cabling and all these things, it can kind of get crowded in there. So we absolutely love this camera pole. I actually wish that we would have installed 2 of them, one right next to each other, because I would love to have the ability to have a follow cam tight chest up shot on the pastor, then also follow cam head to toe right here next to each other. I actually did try this little attachment from Europe that adds 2 bowls on each side of the center of the column attachment point. Thought it was going to be the perfect solution. Realized quickly our setups are just too heavy, and any movement from one to the other would cause the other to shake, and so it kind of defeated the whole purpose of having this awesome stable pole. And in our setup, we actually built the desk completely around the pole and the subfloor completely around the pole. And so it's not exactly easy at this point to reposition it. And that is one thing about these camera pole systems. Once you get them bolted in the concrete, you really don't want to move them. So, you know, it's one of those measure 3 times cut once kind of things. And, you know, I wish that maybe we would have thought ahead and just done 2 poles. Our pole is 72 inches tall, and you could make this as tall as you wanted. But for us, that worked well because our final height ended up at about 7.5 feet, and I didn't want to get much higher than that. You kind of want to plan on what is the head height of your pastor on stage and get kind of close to that. You don't want to be down too low shooting up at them or too high from like a balcony shooting down. You really want to be almost eye level with them on your main shots. Finishing wise, our guy chose to paint it with a gloss black. I've seen people leave it just kind of the raw steel material. That's fine too. Or you can paint it to match whatever wall it's kind of standing in front of. That's another great thing about them. A couple of other features that we have on here is we had a 1/4-20 tap put on there, so I could add a tension arm here for this monitor, which shows the program feed. And then on the other side, we use a 1/4-20 tap on the bowl that's existing there to have another tension arm to mount our wide shot camera. So this pole actually holds 2 cameras, and it's worked really well. If you have questions about what cameras we're using and that kind of gear, I've actually done multiple videos about that. I will link to one in the description about a full tech rundown of our complete broadcast setup. And I hope this helps you guys. I've gotten a lot of questions about this. If it did, would you just do me a favor and like this video? And if you like this kind of content, feel free to subscribe to the channel, hit the notifications bell, all those YouTube things. And remember guys, we can do a lot of great things. Let's do them all for the right reasons. We'll see you in the next one.